his way by allowing his political survival to take precedence. He's in a coalition with far-right extremists there. He's willing to tolerate Gaza, a civilian toll, pushing support for Israeli to new lows. Israel can't survive if it becomes a pariah. I want to be joined right now, Keir, by someone that's covering this and obviously watched these comments earlier on today. Jacob Kornbluh, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. And of course, these are some very explosive comments. Schumer saying Netanyahu lost his way. What do we make of what was said today there on Washington, D.C.?
Well, it comes from somebody who has said and expressed himself in support of Israel ever since he's gone to Congress. He's considered a great friend of Israel, and until recently, even a close friend of Prime Minister Netanyahu. So you have to take his words at face value. There is growing frustration among members of Congress and the Biden administration about what Netanyahu's goals are. Now, you have to sort of separate what Israel is doing right now in Gaza and what the U.S. wants to see in a post-war era, the day after the war. And Netanyahu has been refusing to even discuss any proposal because, in his view, anything that distracts from what's happening right now on the ground, from the war against Hamas and Israel, is a distraction and undermines Israel's ability to destroy Hamas and to bring home the hostages. So on one hand, Schumer actually echoed what many Israelis feel, which is they want to see a change in leadership in Israel. But what I think the backlash against his remarks and what you see in the responses from many in the pro-Israel community and from Israeli politicians and officials are that now is not the time to talk about election. Anything that you discuss about either ousting Netanyahu or elections and a change of leadership in Israel undermines the goal of the war.
Yeah, that is a very good point. That's exactly where I wanted to go to next, the timing of this. And of course, last week, exactly a week ago, it was the State of the Union and the hot mic moment Biden caught saying about Netanyahu that they might have to have a come to Jesus moment. And of course, we also want to put up this tweet said the White House spokesman John Kirby said Schumer actually gave the White House advance notice of his speech against Netanyahu, but stressed he did not seek any approval and is free to speak his mind. In terms of the timing of this, can you give me a little bit more background on it and maybe why now for Schumer to say these things?
There's many reasons why he spoke out right now. We are in the midst of an election. Control of the Senate is on the ballot, as well as the re-election campaign of President Biden. But there's also growing frustration within the administration about Netanyahu's either promises or reluctance to even discuss some of the issues that the Americans want to talk about at the same time that we give them critical aid and support at the UN. So there's sort of this clash on policy, and there's also the optics of politics and the re-election of Biden. What Schumer tried to do is put those things together. On one hand, if you listen to his entire speech, he was strongly supporting Israel's goals in Gaza. He didn't speak out even about a temporary ceasefire or a pause in the fighting. He obviously stressed the need for humanitarian aid to enter Gaza, but he didn't place the blame on Israel about the Palestinian casualties and so on. So the speech itself was, considered very pro-Israel. But he wanted to do what the administration is trying to do, is separate Netanyahu from the Israeli public. The only one caveat is that when you speak about the issues, if it's Netanyahu's opposition to the Palestinian state or his refusal to sort of bend on some of the issues that the U.S. would want to see Israel moderate its positions on, the Israeli public is probably to the right of Netanyahu. Netanyahu has already expressed in the past support for a two-state solution, and he is risk-averse when it comes to military action. The Israeli public is largely supportive of this war, is opposed to a Palestinian state, and any government coming in the day after Netanyahu would be as opposed to a Palestinian state or to any of the goals that the U.S. is putting forward right now. And so what Schumer was trying to do is signal to the base that Netanyahu is the problem. It's not Israel, it's Netanyahu. Once we get rid of Netanyahu, everything will work out its way. I'm not sure if politically it helps Biden in his re-election or helps the administration pursue its goals. It might even, help Netanyahu politically to rally his base.
That is very interesting, and so many different layers to this, a very complicated issue in so many ways. So good job breaking that down as well. Maybe have we heard from Netanyahu today or any Israeli officials about these comments? Because obviously these have ripple effects around the world, including in Israel. What are they saying about what was said today?
Well, Netanyahu's spokesperson, which is the Likud party, released a statement slamming Schumer for undermining Israel and for interfering in Israeli domestic internal issues. But the harshest rebuke came from somebody who actually met Schumer last week and is considered to be the leading candidate for prime minister. That's War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz. He called the speech a mistake and said it wasn't the right time to speak about internal politics. That just shows you how united the people of Israel are around the goals of this war, and also the timing. It wasn't the right timing.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Of course, I just put up the statement that you tweeted out about this, and contrary to Schumer's words, the Israeli public supports a complete victory over Hamas there as well.